Hello everyone, I'm finally back in my little workshop. It's been, I suppose you could say, well, I've been a busy or a hectic last 6 months, what with other projects that I was involved with, so I had to get those completed, and then various family events, and then of course holidays. So I literally did not have the time to be in the workshop. Although when I had a bit of spare time, I was reading various articles on the internet about well, violin acoustics, you know, the arching, how that affects the tone, thickness in patterns, how the violin vibrates, and various other things. And there's a lot of information out there if you're prepared to do the, for want of a better phrase, the legwork, because it is out there. Some of it, I would say, it's very scientific, you know, a lot of it. And on first reading, you know, I thought, I don't, you know, it's gone over my head. But if you read it through second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, sometimes, you know, any number of times, you I slowly started to get a handle on, you know, what was going on. And I can definitely say that 6 months on, I now have a better understanding of these various things, arching, thickness in patterns, etc. Type of wood, density of wood, tone of wood, grain orientation, all the various things that go into producing a nice sounding violin. As I say, I've certainly got a better understanding of that now than I had 6 months ago. And so I'm hoping that with this little bit of knowledge I've gained, I'll be able to actually apply it and hopefully produce some better sounding violins. So that's the plan. And now I'm finally back in the workshop, I shall be making some violins. So we'll see how that progresses. And since I've been back in the workshop as well, I've been experimenting with different violin finishes. The shellac, yacht varnish or spar varnish, I've tried that. And I bought some, I think aniline, I hope I pronounced that right, aniline powders. I got like a reddish brown and an amber, and I've been mixing that in with the varnish to get the different tints. And then I also cut some very thin strips of wood, which they're about somewhere. I should have got them out before I started doing the video. But I put it onto some very thin strips, let it dry, and then bent the strips to see how flexible it was. Because as you can appreciate, a violin, in effect, well, it's a little wooden box, and if you put a thick gloopy varnish on your violin, it can't vibrate. So it needs to be a thin coating of varnish, and that's what I've been experimenting with. And also I've got a piece of wood here that you can see there's various stains. Like I say, I had the powders, and then I also got some wood stain. I think like some mahogany, some oak, and like a yellowy wood stain, and then putting various things on, and then shellac, and just to, you know, I've made notes on the side so I know what the, for example, there's one here. Oh, that's actually violin varnish. I actually bought a small 100mm tin of oil varnish, so I've tried that on, and then I tried, that's that, and then somewhere on here, oh, that's it there, that's one. I had to go at making my own varnish, so I've had a sort of messed about various mixes, and yeah, so that's been another ongoing experiment. And yeah, so I would encourage you, you know, just if you're unsure, just get a piece of wood, because it's just scrap wood, and you've got nothing to lose. You see, rather than you make a violin and then you'll be probably a bit nervous as to, because you don't want to mess your hard, you know, your hard and or the hard work you put into your violin. So scrap piece of wood. If it goes wrong, throw it away. You know, keep going, keep notes of what you've done, so that if you do arrive at a finish, when it's dried, you look at it and think, oh, I like that. You know how you've done it. If you don't make your notes, you'll be mystified as to how you got there. So that's another little thing I've been on with. And in the last 6 weeks since I've been in the workshop, I've managed to produce 2 violins. So here is the first one, and I decided to have a go at antiquing, because I know there's 2 schools of thought on this. There's some people think you shouldn't do it, and other people like it. Well, I've got no thoughts either way. For me, it was just a case of having an experiment. And oh, then on the back there, you see, I decided when I was doing it, I'd put some little bit of fancy work in there. You can see that. This is pine, is this purfling, because I've got proper purfling, but I didn't want, because this is just, as I say, this is rough wood. Anybody who've watched the first video, it's a worktop, so I'm still using the same worktop, and bits of pine that came off my bench. This bench here, I reduced it in size, but I say, so I've just, as you can see there, it's just messed about, you know, and scrape it and rub bits of stain in to make it look old. And then, oh, so it was quite entertaining when I did. I think it's a good example of it. Well, as you can see there, it's and what I didn't have the correct tools, and the narrowest chisel I had was a 1/4 inch. So what I did in effect, which I can laugh about it at the time, I took a pencil, and I took a pencil, and what I did, I just held the pencil, and you can see there, and I ran round and drew a pencil line parallel. Then I moved the pencil in slightly and drew a second line, and then I had a Stanley knife like this, and then very, very carefully went round and scored that line. And then when it came to put the purfling in, once again, I didn't have the right a chisel that was narrow enough. So in effect, I had this screwdriver, and then I very, very carefully went round and chipped and chipped and chipped. Oh, you can see, yeah. I just had to very carefully go and chip it all out and clean it as best I could. I mean, since then, I've been out and I've bought, well, here, I bought one with the 2 blades that you can go around with, but I didn't have it at the time, and I just wanted to get on and get it done. So that's the first one. So that is violin number 2, and that's it's still the Guarneri Plowden pattern, but it's the antique looked violin. And then violin number 3, I call it the orange violin, because we watched a film here, and it was with Samuel L. Jackson, called The Red Violin, and I thought I'll make a red violin, but with the trying to mix the colours up and what have you, it came out a bit, instead of being red, it was, well, sort of like a crimson colour, which I didn't like, so I wiped it off and then mixed up this. So and this is the same. It's the you can see I've put the pine inlay in there, and the same there, and it's a bit rough and ready in places because, as I say, I didn't have the proper tools. So it's you know, so you can see it. I don't think it's worked out too bad. Some of the corners you can see there. Oh, that's a good one there. See, it just chipped out. Plus this oak, it's like iron. It really, I'm not just making excuses. It really is. It's like iron. I mean, I've worked with oak before, and it can be hard. You know, you work a bit sharp, your chisel work a bit. But some of this, I'm not exaggerating. It really, you know, it was hard work. But also I found, you see, oh, if you can see on there, that's one of the joints. As I thinned it, that opened up, that joint. I've had these other lengthways joints open up, and they're not so bad because you can re-glue those, but these, it's difficult. So basically, as I polished it, or I varnished it, that I put the varnish in there, and it's helped hold it together. And so tone wise, because this is a brighter tone and this one is a more, well, I don't know if that's coming out on camera, but I've got a bow here. But if I run it over, because I wanted a darker, putting into practice what I'd been reading on the internet about acoustics, I wanted a darker sounding violin. So this is, now if I play the orange violin, that is, the G and D strings on this one again. I'm hoping that comes out on camera, but it is, well, as well as being a dark coloured violin, it's a darker toned violin. So that now, my playing is not the best. That's the two fiddles, but I'm fortunate, and we have some family members who play violin. So in the next clip, the first clip will be the brown violin being played, and then the clip immediately after is the orange violin being played. So I'll let you hear that and see what, hope you like it.